Hey, it's Sheris Farfalia, Mystical Empress. One more time today. After I finished the last video, I thought about a few little tips, things that aren't so common, things that I've learned over the years that took a lot of research to find these things. So I just wanted to say a few things in a brief video. I say brief, I always say brief, and then it turns out to be really long, but we'll try to make this brief. One of the things I wanted to say that I had mentioned in the last video was I was talking about needing to shield, ground, and uh, put a grid over things and clear your aura. These are three things that are very much needed for spiritual hygiene. And so that's sort of what I want to talk about, but I've also got a few other things I want to say. I'm going to try to file them over here for a minute and so I can remember to come back to them, because I start getting so many ideas in my head at once that I have a hard time getting it all out of my mouth before I forget it. So anyway, starting with, let's say, grounding. I pulled a couple of pieces of tin foil out. Tin foil helps ground energy. If you know about the little TV bunny ears that we used to put on TVs long time ago, you'll remember when this had to be put at the top. Sometimes they even put it on radio antennas. But anyway, when you stand on tin foil, stand on it barefoot for 5 minutes. You don't have to stand, you can sit and put your feet on it. But put your feet on it directly touching the tin foil, and that grounds excess energy out of you. And if you got a kid that may have ADHD or a little bit wound up, get them to put their feet on that every day, especially when you notice them getting a little bit, carried away. And that'll ground excess energy. What I do, I have a stack of prayers. I like to write on colored index cards. They make me happy. Anything color makes me happy. So I write my little prayers on here, put them on a table, and I stand barefoot on my tinfoil while I'm reading these prayers. And I have other prayers in my little folder. But anyway, I do that. So that gets my prayers done, and that gets my grounding done. The next thing you want to do is clear your aura. Your aura, you know how you clean your hair? You don't want it to get oily and dirty and flaky and whatever else may be going on up there. You clean it ever so often. Well, with your aura, you need to clean it every day. You need to ground every day, and you need to clear every day. And I teach all of my clients, especially the ones I clear. After I clear somebody, I teach them this spiritual hygiene, because most people don't know that they need to do this daily. You brush your teeth, you brush your hair, you wash your hair, you take a shower, you do these things also. Okay, so that you clear yourself. Now, there's a variety of things you can do. You can have, I just so happen to have this sitting here. You can have a sage bundle. This is sacred sage. This is not garden sage that you eat and cook with. This is a white gray sage, a little bit lighter than cooking sage. But you can get this at like Whole Foods or New Age shops or whatever. You can use this. You smoke it. You set it on fire. Here, I'll just do that real briefly. I feel like I've done 1,000 of these videos on this, but nobody seems to remember them, so I always have to do another one. But anyway, you light it. It's not going to stay lit, but it's going to smoke. The smoke clears energy. Used to, when we would have parties, we would take everybody, the very first of the party, and we'd clear everybody's energy. One thing, so we wouldn't have all their yuck in my house. But the other reason is it's a blessing to do this to people. But the smoke, you take it all over your body. And I always say I bring it to my eyes. I see the truth. I hear the truth. I smell the truth. Smell is the form of discernment. You have smell as a spiritual gift, very discerning. What's the other one? I know the truth. I feel the truth on my heart. Anyway, you can do sage. You need to do this in your house, going around the perimeter of the house at least once a month. And I'm not real good at this. That's why it's sitting here, because I need to do it right now. But anyway, you can do sage. I don't like the smell of that, so I prefer a selenite wand. These things are incredibly cheap. You can get them. I got this one on eBay, this huge piece for $15. And I'll take stones and glue them to it, but it's a very soft stone. You can like literally scratch it. Pieces will fall off. But I learned this in a dream. An African medicine woman came in one of my dreams, and she had people lined up, and she was doing this, showing me how to do it. And I was standing there waiting for my turn, and she just passed me. So it was like, you got to do this yourself. But what she was doing was she was taking it and literally combing auras of the people lined up, front and back. That cuts cords, cleans a lot up. I also call in Archangel Michael to cut cords, remove hooks, evil eye, attachments, demons, whatever may be attached to me. I have a little prayer on my index card, and I'm saying the prayer the whole time I'm doing the clearing. Okay? So we got grounding, then we have clearing the aura, cleaning the aura, and the next thing is we do shielding. Shielding is very important. So the aura is like your coat you wear out. Shielding is like a bubble all the way around you that protects you. I also do a prayer with this. I will call in the full armor of God, Yahweh, Hashem, and I will also be asked to be covered in the full blood of Christ, Jesus Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach. I ask for that. Then I always place myself in a golden pillar, a vertical pillar. I place myself and Sir Gawain, my cat. We both go in the pillar. And I ask for the full blood of God, the full blood of Christ, and the full armor of God to cover me. And then I start with the uppermost chakras, and I come all the way down, asking that all these energy centers be balanced and aligned and purified, cleansed, starting with galactic, solar, celestial, crown, third eye, throat, well of dreams, which is the base of your skull. This is a port. When you work with me, I teach you what this is for and what to use it, how to use it. But anyway, I make sure that's included. That's the 13th chakra. Then the heart, solar plexus, sacral root, earth, and diamond chakras. I ask that all the solar plexus, sacral root, earth, and diamond chakras be deeply grounded into the earth. And then I go through, a friend of mine taught me this. I go through gridding the property, whatever home I'm living in, apartment, whatever, also vehicle. So when I grid, I place archangels, I square things up. So like my truck, I square it. The lot, I'll square it. The house, I'll square it. So when you square it, you start with, in these angels, it doesn't matter which order you do this in. This is just my way. I put Archangel Michael, front left, front right, Raphael, back right, Gabriel, back left, Ariel, and then in the center, Uriel. And I see golden threads or lines connecting between all of the angels, okay? And then I ask for that center one, which in this case I use Uriel. I don't have any significant reason why I have them in that order, so don't go there. But in the center, I see that as a vacuum that sucks all that negative junk out, down that pit and into the ground. And so what this does, I had a lady in Denver. She said, you can actually use this to take you off the map, like literally make you where you can't be picked up energetically, because telepathy is very real. And dark forces, whether that be evil people or whether that be demons, whatever it may be, they're reading energy. And when you do this grid, it makes you gone. It shields you, basically, is what it does. So I go through all of that. All right, let me make sure I covered everything. Grounding, clearing, and shielding. Okay. So when you do these things, you should do them in the morning at least before you go out. When you come in from work or wherever you've been, like out in the city, you may want to do it again. If you've had a particularly confrontational situation happen with somebody, then call in Archangel Michael. I always get my selenite wand when I feel like, or I do this in between clients because I don't want to carry one client's emotions onto the other client because that interferes with readings and things. So in between clients, I'll clean myself and then I'm fresh and clean. So you want to do those things. The other tips that I was thinking, the reason why I even wanted to do this is, let's see if I can remember all of them. One thing, if you have been having nightmares or you're having, you sleep paralysis, whatever, a lot of these things are caused by entities. I will tell people, especially before I can get to them and clear them, because, sometimes it takes a few days. But I'll tell them, like, especially when it's a child. I just had a child, a 14-year-old clear last week, and he was having nightmares. And these poor kids, they get scared to stay in their rooms. And that just brings up another thought. In the bedroom, keep the closet doors closed. If you have a child that's scared to be in their bedroom, there's a reason. Don't ignore it because kids can see things adults can't. Pets can see things too. And a child will tell you the boogeyman's in the closet, and apparently, oh, there's no boogeyman's. It's not true. The kid can see what you can't see. Closets are portals. That's why you watch all these scary movies and there's always a monster in there. Remember Poltergeist when they had all that activity coming out of the closets? Because it's a portal. Keep it closed. Another thing, when you're having difficulty sleeping, and there's probably a reason for that, but we're going to assume you don't know any of that. You don't know to get a clearing or whatever. Eat before you go to bed. And I'm going to explain to you why. When you are operating out of the upper chakras, you are much more psychically sensitive. And like the work that I do, I'm up here all the time and I have to remember to ground myself. And unfortunately, a lot of times I will eat to ground myself. It calms me right down. It's like after I've been with a client, especially someone that's really anxious, wound up, whatever, I get off the phone and I'm like, where's a treat? And it's not good, but that's what's happened. So anyway, when you eat, it brings you down into those first three chakras, actually four or five chakras below the solar plexus down. It puts you in your body. So when you're having these nightmares and things, when you go to sleep, you leave your body, you travel all over the place in this dimension and in other dimensions. And the troublesome spirits, entities, whatever, live in 4D, fourth realm, four dimension. We live in 3D. So when you go to sleep, you're often prey to that stuff because you're at your most vulnerable and you're in their territory. So when you eat before you go to sleep, it keeps you in your body because your body's processes and digestion. I don't recommend doing that every night. I mean, if you have to do it every night, you need a clearing ASAP. But I recommend doing that, if you're wore out, you hadn't been able to sleep or something, eat, go to bed. Your body will be busy, but you'll get some sleep. When I work with people, like when I do clearings, I always tell them I try to do my work in the morning because I ask everyone to fast before we work together. Because when I'm fasting too. When I'm doing my work, I don't want them digesting. I want them clear and clean. And I want myself that way too, because I'm doing this upper chakra level work. And a lot of my people that I work on, they're intuitive too, and they will see and feel things. A lot of times they can confirm what I'm seeing or hearing or feeling or whatever. They'll come back. Because the whole time I'm doing the clearing, I'm going through telling them everything that I'm observing, like a reporter, and they will come back and say, "Well, I just felt this. I felt a strong heaviness on my back," or, "Oh, I feel so much lighter." This one guy, he was seeing all these angelic lights while we were working. It's pretty cool. But anyway, that's another little psychic tip that can be helpful. There is a reason, if you're connecting the dots at this point in what I'm saying, you think about like in the biblical times when Jesus, he fasted 40 days. You hear a lot when you're going to church, you'll hear them talk about you need to fast. Well, when you fast, you remove food, okay? Some people, they'll fast like just taking a liquid diet or whatever. For me, when I fast, I fast. It's no food at all. And I did that in 2018. I did a 40-day fast. I ate nothing. And I have never felt better in my life. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to die because you're not eating." I'm like, "No, I'm not going to die." And I didn't have the energy to go, run a mile or garden or whatever, but I was calm, I was focused and centered, and I felt clean. And the reason, when you fast and you haven't taken in food, you automatically enter those spiritual realms. That's why fasting is so important for growing your spirituality, for evolving your soul. It's not the most common thing in American culture to fast. I wish it was. I wish more people understood it. It's awesome. And I'm planning on doing it again. So, and just a little aside note, as far as I'm concerned, it may not happen for other people, but for me, when I fasted that long, the first, I'm going to say 5 days, 3 days, really a struggle. But the first five, after you get past that fifth day, you're not even hungry. You're not like, you don't have a whole lot of energy. You're not, like I said, you're not going to be going and doing a gym workout, but you settle into it, you relax into it, and it has a lot of benefits, and it's very, very awesome to evolve you. So eating is a big thing, and there is a reason. You don't eat. Now you got to flip that logic. If you don't eat to get in those spiritual realms, if you're already having problems with spiritual realms, like you're being attacked, you're hearing all these voices that are telling you to do awful things, you want to eat. You don't, unless you get cleared, or you go to a church and you have them do a deliverance on you or whatever. You don't want to be wide open when you are being attacked spiritually. And I want to say here that so much of our problems we think are mental, emotional, physical, but they are actually spiritual. And the reason we can't get past them is because we turn to medication, we turn to alcohol, to drugs, to love, addiction, um, spending, eating, nicotine, whatever we can use to numb it. But the solution to most of it is a spiritual solution. Again, in America, we don't automatically, unless we go to church regularly, and I know a lot of people who go to church who never consider, hey, this is a spiritual condition I need to work on. Everybody goes to just 3D solutions, and that doesn't work. So when we are struggling, you can see all this on my website, mysticalempress.com. Go into the shaman tab. when we're suffering with anxiety. A lot of people call me for clearings when they're suffering with anxiety, depression, nightmares, suicidal thoughts, wanting to hurt themselves, wanting to hurt others. I haven't had anybody want to hurt others that's come to me that I know of. But I did have once, I'd say about 3 years ago now, a family called me after a very publicized murder in their family. One of the family members killed themselves and their children, and it was totally uncharacteristic. And the family came to me to find out what happened. And when you have something that heinous, you can bet your biffy, as Ben would say, my dad. You can bet your biffy that there is demonic attachments, possession going on. That is the demonic realm. That is these unclean spirits' main goal, is to cause you to cause yourself harm as well as others. And the problem is, anyway, let me say this. When I went in and looked at what had happened, because when I go in, I can reverse the timeline and go back and see the event. And I was able to see the woman was possessed, full on possessed. And the family, they were struggling to understand. And I said, look, if you had seen this person when this happened, you would not recognize them. And that's the problem with demonic possession. Everybody says, oh, this is crazy. Yeah, well, guess what? That is the best deception that the devil ever perpetrated on this world, on this earth, is convincing people he doesn't exist. You ask somebody that worships the devil, they'll tell you real clear he exists. And I tell people all the time, there are more demons in this world right now than there ever have been. And that's because their time is short and they're trying to accomplish a lot. But anyway, the stages that happen is the people, when they have this attachment, anxiety and depression, rage, anger, these things come in. And if you got somebody attacking you all the time, they got demons, more than likely. You've got somebody that is in severe depression, that is, full of anxiety. God doesn't put rage and fear on you. The devil does. So what happens is people try to medicate these things. They try to anger management therapy, or they try to take antidepressants or whatever. And when parents call me, particularly, adults never call me when they're about to start medicating. It's when they have kids that they're about to take and get medicated. And they'll call me and they'll say, we're going to go get this child medicated. They're depressed. They're this, they're that. And I always beg them not to do that, because medication numbs the warning bells that God gave you, I don't know, at birth. So when you're having emotions, are a signal, and when you numb them and make it okay to do whatever, or make you just like a jellyfish, that's not what God planned for you. And so when you do that, it's like opening the front door saying, whatever wants to come in, I'm here, take me. And so a lot of people who medicate, they get worse off than better. They don't connect the dots, but that's what's happening. They are opening themselves up to more spirit entity attacks. So I get a lot of parents that call me with kids. I had one a week ago, his best friend got killed. And so now this trauma actually opened him up psychically. And now this kid is hearing like randomly screams. And the entities that are doing the screaming are posing as family members and friends of his. So he's like completely wigged out. He can be out on the basketball court and, start hearing screams in his head. And so the mother called for a clearing, and I went in and I looked at this kid, and he's a very high dimensional, very evolved soul that's here. But I had to clear stuff off that he's drug in from other times and places. So anyway, one other thing I wanted to talk about is meditation. Everybody teaches meditation. And, I had my astrology chart done when I was in my Saturn return, 27 years old. Jean Avery did my astrology charts. Best damn astrology reading ever. She was amazing. And she told me then, she said, meditation can be one of the most dangerous things in the world. And I was like, I didn't really know what she started about. I didn't care anything about meditation. But anyway, as I grew and learned and researched, I found out why that was true. Meditation is opening yourself up to whatever is around you. Again, throwing your front door wide open, saying, come on in. Psychedelics, ayahuasca, mushrooms. What's that cactus? Is it San Pedro cactus? I can't remember. I don't do any of that. I don't need it. I can get where I need to go. I can see what I need to see without hallucinogenics. And so I don't recommend any of that because, again, it opens you wide, wide. And if you don't believe there are spirits and things floating around, guess what? It's not going to be too long into the future when people who are not psychic can see this stuff, because the veil is falling, the illusion's falling away. If you haven't noticed, there's a lot of truth that's being told, coming out. And these demons that have been hiding, the hologram's going to fall and you're going to see them. And you might as well be prepared, because it's going to really freak you out if you're not prepared. So you go into these hallucinogenic states. Again, you're wide open. Excuse me. You're wide open. Smoke. When you're wide open, you're very attractive, because they want nothing better than to use you as a host and latch on. So it's important to, when you drink, you go out to bars, these spirits love hanging out in clubs. That's why I don't go to them. I haven't ever been somebody that enjoys club or bar life. I can't be around that. So you go in there, we'll say you're not shielded, you're not grounded, you're already dirty. Your aura is already dirty because you've never cleaned it. You walk in there, you're already vulnerable. Then you start drinking or drugging, and you have zero armor at that point. And then you wind up in bed with somebody you don't even know who they are. And most likely you've picked up stuff. You've picked up attachments. And you move forward from that event, you notice you start getting depressed. Oh, why am I so depressed? Then you move through that a few more months, maybe a year, and you start thinking about killing yourself. And you may or you may not do it. Maybe you go to a doctor and you start taking prescription pills, and then you just walk around like a zombie. So this stuff's really real, and it's really important that you get it figured out, because I'm telling you now, this stuff's going to accelerate faster and faster. And if you don't know what's going on, you're going to get, I always liken it to a ocean. You know, you can play around right at the edge, and then you get to this certain depth where if you don't have a sure footing, a wave will come in and it'll grab you and drag you out. That's what happens to you when you're not protected, shielded, grounded. You're not keeping yourself in a higher vibrational range. You can get swept out to sea really, really fast. In February, my husband was killed in a car accident. And right after it happened, and I had two friends, two Christian friends, matter of fact, and they both said, you got to heal this quick. You got to get through this. And what are we? Almost a year. It'll be a year, the 13th, my 1 year anniversary. And I looked back on that the other day, and I asked both of them, I said, why did you say that to me? That's a really odd thing to say to a grieving widow. And they said, we don't know. God told us to tell you that. We don't know. But I do know, because A, I had a lot of you guys to help this year and continue to help. But B, because if I got down in that hole, I may not be able to get out. I've had my time of grieving. I've had a lot of sadness. I've had a lot of tears. But I always pick myself back up, because I know, especially as intuitive as I am, I know I can't afford to get down in that hole. And you can't either. So am I telling you to go, medicate or whatever? No, I'm telling you to find a spiritual solution to whatever may be bothering you. And I don't know. Let me put my glasses on. I'm seeing things pop up. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. It's really sweet of you. I'm sitting here. I can barely see without my glasses on. I just I shot a video. What was I talking about? Clearings and coaching these clients. And I thought, hey, well, I'm in the mood. Let me shoot this one too. So I came in here to do that. And I was just trying to figure out any little spiritual tips that aren't common that you may not have known about. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm really hungry, and I have an Akashic record reading to do in a few minutes. So thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and your focus. And if you guys have any questions or anything, you can put them down in the comment section. If you're wanting a reading, you can schedule that. You can go to mysticalempress.com and schedule a reading there if you need or want a clearing, anything like that. Go ahead and get on that, because the clearings, they're really beneficial. People love you too, Jan. The clearings, yeah, they're good. They'll help you get out of these pits. But anyway, thank you for watching. May God bless you and keep you. Till next time. Bye-bye.